g-ne.com. At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through April 7th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York strips for $6.99 each, hickory smoked bacon for $4.99 per pound, fresh boneless, skinless chicken breast for $2.99 per pound, and whole tri-tip for $9.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
One action, no matter how small, can have a world of impact on the life of a child. Cedars started because one couple believed that they could provide a child with a better life. And that belief grew into the Cedars that we know today, a powerful force for good that helps thousands of kids across Nebraska. Belief grows.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular price athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School, live in effect here at 1040 O Street. We'll say the mecca of sports media in the state of Nebraska. Best lineup, best people, best situation, best location. We'll definitely wear that badge in honor, respectfully. But we are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients, and Butcher Shop. 2 locations in Lincoln, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill. Then they have one in Omaha. I think it's on Maple Street. Somewhere.
168th and Maple.
168th and Maple. If you didn't get to check out the crossover between me and Strick, we were blessed today again by my man Nate the Skate. Was it Nate, right?
MVP Mike.
Yeah, Mike, Magic Mike. Mm-hmm. Nate the Skate. That's just one of my boys. MVP Mike stopped over again and brought DP his package, and he is notified that it's in the freezer waiting on him. But then he also blessed us with some excellent beef jerky from the Mercado, by the way, the 1890 or partnership with 1890. I don't know how it all kind of situation, but
so all I care is that we got beef jerky.
We got love.
We
got love. Yeah. I gave everybody else, tell them to eat their heart out. Even AG. You know, AG's about it. Aaron Davis, too. Yeah. Aaron Davis, AG, Chris Raff, Nick, Sipple, Bill Bush, definitely Jake. You guys get breakfast almost every day. Early break, they got, or not early break, but the drive, they got their own chef. Yes, Matt, I'm mad at you, too. You said you was going to hook us up. I ain't hooked up nothing.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, we'll let it slide. And the Mercado comes through like a champ, and we just came up like the mob. But with that being said, we're in spring ball. And I know it's Final Four this weekend, so it's going to be some really good games starting off tonight with the women's side. Then we go to men's side, back to women's, back to men's. And we'll have 2 champions, well-earned, and definitely going to be at the top of the hill. But it's competition everywhere in spring ball here at Nebraska. And I know the thing that everybody, what we talked about in the crossover is quarterback, but I want to take it to the other side. And I always say this, the most important position on every football team is the offense and defensive line or the lines, no matter what anybody says. Then obviously quarterback. But on this team, quarterback, and I said this on Inside the Huddle, be airing this Sunday, 11 a.m. Quarterback position, production, continuity, leadership, depth, right? The most important on the second most important position or competition is linebacker, and let's just say stack linebacker position. So generally it's two positions, right? So if you looked at it last year, Nick Heinrich / Bullock, or in Luke Reimer / like Javen Wright and Mekhi Gilbert, those two stack linebacker positions. Though you've lost Nick Heinrich, Luke Reimer. You lost leadership. You lost production. You lost continuity. You lost safety. Safety in the sense of you feel safe when you roll up to a game. You kind of know what you're going to get. Was it perfect? No, but you knew that you were going to get a good, honest day's work. And a lot of times at linebacker position, that's all you need. But then you had a little bit of times of production in the pass game and big explosive plays. And that was where you got from a lot of times from Luke Reimer, but you got the consistency from Nick Heinrich. One, Luke Reimer has graduated and hopefully potentially gets a shot at the NFL. Nick Heinrich retired from football and has moved on. But ultimately, that's probably the biggest hole on the defensive side of the ball. Now, obviously, you'd like to see some guys develop as a true, hand in the dirt pass rusher, but that's for another day and another segment. We're talking about guys that you have to replace.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second most important competition on this team.
Linebackers are doing that communicating for the defense.
They're the quarterback of your defense.
They have to be. And again, even though it was a new system for those guys, they've been around enough college football, played enough. Seems like they caught on pretty quickly.
Right.
John Bullock played last year. I assume he has the inside track to one of those positions. We'll see if he communicates at the same level.
Does he step up, though, too?
Right. Stephon Thompson, we heard about, needs to catch up, get physically in shape.
Right.
Bayer's still a young guy, plenty to prove. Does Buddha slide down, or does he stay at that rover position?
Yeah.
And then young guys. We haven't heard a lot about young linebackers, which worries me about depth, because the beating that position takes. You're going to need someone to step up, whether it's like, a couple of years ago, Chris Kolarevic, who's an older guy, but was ready when his number was called. I mean, back at the start of his career. The reason Reimer burst on the scene was because of injuries.
Yeah.
Guys got banged up. He stepped in. We don't know who the starters are, and we don't know who the depth is at that position.
Yeah. As much as we knew what the known was last year, this time of spring ball, no matter what the scheme that they came in with or Tony White was going to implement, you don't know anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, can you really you came back. Great decision, by the way. I think that, I want to give him credit, whereas he took Coach Corey Coleman's off-season workout with the nutritionist and reshaped his body to look like a linebacker and kept it. So that means it's natural. And so now can you step up from the flashes that you've shown? And he was pretty consistent at times, but let's just say, can you take the huge step from being a rotational player to the guy? To the guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge jump. I've been there. Can you go from a guy that say like you play, in his case, let's just say 50% of the time, to 85% of the time, and then also not lose your edge in preparation, your leadership, selflessness? Can you do it? It's a different mindset rolling up to the game, knowing you're getting in the third series versus you got to start the party off. It's a totally different mindset. It's different from being a starter and coming off the bench. There's a difference between it being the starter and the finisher. So when you go to 85%, you're starting the game, you got to be able to finish. And then can, Stephon Thompson get, he's getting a little bit better shape. How fast can you get into game shape? And then how fast can you get into game shape and then also live up to your expectations and then everybody's assumptive expectations that you should know Tony White and his system inside out?
Mm-hmm.
Can you be that guy that when they go back and look at our transfer portal you're up in the top 3 or 4? Like, man, this dude provided stability, playmaking ability, leadership. This guy you can depend on. He's a guy that actually can pull a young guy aside, like a Dylan Rogers. Say, listen, this is how you play in this defense. This is what I know from playing in this scheme, even though you were at Syracuse. Right? That's the one that you're talking about, one of the young guys. Okay, look, it's time for Dylan Rogers to take some big steps. You had a redshirt year. You were able to kind of get used to college football. He's a big old physical looking kid. Can run pretty decent, or obviously he wouldn't be recruited. All right, we need you to step up. We need to see some consistency. And I'm sure they're all voicing all this in your practice habits, in your your preparation, and then in your playmaking ability. Sometimes it's not all about what you do as far as getting a whole bunch of tackles for losses and all that. When you play that middle linebacker position, you got to be a leader first and foremost. You got to command the huddle. What do we talk about the quarterback position? You got to command the huddle. You got to demand respect. You got to have expectations. You got to be productive. You got to be willing as a quarterback, let's say, of the offense to take the easy pass, because you have to be able to continue to keep the drive going, because you want to give the defense rest, ours, and you want to make their defense tired, and we want to keep the momentum on our side. So you might have to bypass the riskier pass in order to set yourself up for a play or two later for a first down. On defense, as a middle linebacker, you got to set the defense. You got to communicate the coverage both in the second level and in the front line, or in the first level, but then also you got to be in unison with the third level as well. You got to be in the right place at the right time. You got to be physical. You got to be fast. You got to be quick. You got to make plays. And then you got to command the huddle.
Just be in there, not just be a part of it, but command it.
Yeah, you can't say, oh, my favorite defense all the time. You can't be like, hawk open 7, ready break. Yeah, them dudes going to look at you like,
come again?
Right?
Yeah.
Say it again. You guys say, hawk open 7, ready break, be alert for the switch, alert 6 backside. Austin, you got to play tough on this down here. I need you here. Okay, now something else might hand. You got to be constantly talking. You just got to be like a conductor. You're orchestrating the whole defense. That's why. And then you got to inspire guys. You got to demand guys. Then you got to do all that stuff that I talked about and handle your business.
Because if you're not handling yours, they're not going to listen to you.
And you're going to get handled. And you playing in the middle of the defense. Because and I was just talking about this to Mike Minter. Shout out to Mike Minter, man. I hadn't seen him since.
Back in town, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen him since. Actually, last time I saw Mike Minter, this is a funny story, then we'll go to break. We played the Carolina Panthers. And he knew I was going to do this. And our special teams coach, we had this thing where I played in the middle on kickoff return. So I would show on the number 5, slow him down, and then I would go for a knockout blow on the number 1. Mike Minter, he'd have been there. He knew I was coming. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to try to clean his clock. So I showed on 5, a couple, like a second or two, a stride or two, so just to try to confuse Mike. And I came over there and I tried to rock the mic on him. He was like, Jay Foreman, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. That's the last time.
You watched this film too?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have tried to kill him, but I would have liked to get him about it. You know what I mean? But he knew it was good. That's the last time I saw him. It was good to see him yesterday. Still look like he can play. I told him, man, you still look like you come down the box a little bit. So he lets you know he's been still working out. But I mean, that's just back to spring ball. That's that position of middle linebacker. I was just talking with Mike, and he was like, he was asking me what's the difference. I said, here's the difference. When I went from outside to inside, when I was outside, there's like 2 guys that can block me. 3, like a little pipsqueak receiver, tight end, tackle. You might, if the guard pulls, you got plenty of time to kind of figure,
formulate a play in.
Yeah, I mean, because it's one player over. When you play linebacker, everybody can block you. Receiver, tight end, both tackles, guard, center, fullback.
Running back.
Right, yeah, running
potentially.
Back. Yeah. And then when you get outside, man, they try to get those receivers try to knock your block off. Like on a cutback play. Yeah,
they think they're tough.
They're going to hit you when you ain't looking. So, yeah, so, I mean, that's just but as you're trying to compete for a spot, establish yourself in the locker room, establish yourself in the football team, establish yourself with the football staff or the coaching staff, and then obviously establish yourself in a game-to-game basis, day-to-day basis. It's a hard job to do. So that's why I said it's the most important position, or second to the quarterback position. Obviously, the quarterback stirs the pot on the offense and on the team. The middle linebacker position on this team has got to be effective, and you've got to be a dude who steps up and does it, is going to have a big or as big an impact as the quarterback position on the outcome of this season. And that's why spring ball is huge, and that's why we're talking about it right now. But with that being said, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
The need in our community, if you just look at the numbers, it's frightening. We're serving over 1,000 kids every day. With the passion of our people, I really feel like our potential to be of even greater service to kids and families who are struggling is just unlimited. But in order to have the greatest impact, we need all the help we can get from the community.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The playoff race is heating up, and the Lincoln Stars are pushing for their third consecutive postseason berth this spring. Join us at the Icebox as the Stars host the Sioux City Musketeers at 7:05 p.m. on Friday and the Omaha Lancers at 6:05 on Saturday. Friday is FFA and Ag Night, and Saturday is Billet Appreciation Night. Lock in your seats for all the fights, checks, and goals now at LincolnStars.com.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old School rolling right along. Jay Foreman, Coach Jay Foreman, out the door. He's got some business to attend to. good luck to Coach Jay and the Fighting Foremans in their basketball travails and such this weekend. I'm Austin Norman. I'll take you through for the next hour or change here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Why only the next hour or so? Women's Final Four right here on these airwaves. That's right. This weekend, you will hear the NCAA Women's Final Four tonight. You will get the Men's Final Four tomorrow. On Sunday, we will broadcast the Women's National Championship game. And then on Monday, the Men's National Championship game. So stay tuned for all of that right here on these very airwaves. If that's not your cup of tea, not your speed, not your style, not to worry. We will still have all of our local programming available for you. That will be on our app, free app for your phone, 93.7 The Ticket app. Give that a look. Or Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We'll also have our content, our live local content for you, as will Allo Channel 961. On the topic of the Final Four, saw this interesting piece looking at team composition of the 4 teams remaining in the Final Four. And I believe that this is a list that goes alphabetically. Yes, it is. So how are these teams constructed? Definitely not all the same. Definitely some differences in player acquisition for these 4 head coaches. Okay, so let's start with Alabama and head coach Nate Oates. Probably the biggest talent attractor of this group. They've gotten a few 5-stars recently in the Nate Oates tenure. Brandon Miller, of course, the number 2 pick in last year's NBA draft, went through there. But more so than the high school recruiting ranks, where Alabama's been pretty solid, the Crimson Tide, more than about anyone in this Final Four, have relied on the transfer portal to build their team. Okay, so Mark Sears has been playing some lights-out basketball on offense, doing enough on defense, runs the point quite a bit for the Crimson Tide, gets a lot of shots up, shoots them well. He was a transferred in from Frank Solich U. That's right. He started his career off at Ohio. Aaron Estrada has made some waves recently, plays very little 3, some 4, some 5 for the Crimson Tide. Listed as a Hofstra transfer, but this is a guy with high major talent. He was at Oregon for a while, also at St. Peter's. And then you think of a guy like Grant Nelson, acquired by Alabama out of the transfer portal. He started his career at North Dakota State. Nelson's been up and down, definitely hasn't dominated games at Alabama the way he did at North Dakota State, except for the Sweet 16 win over North Carolina. Grant Nelson had a monster game, knocked down threes, protected the rim. Alabama's defense has really, truly picked up over these last couple weeks of March Madness. To me, that's the biggest reason why the Crimson Tide are in the Final Four. Yeah, they shoot it well. They shoot a lot of threes. They get them up, hit them at a pretty good clip. But the transfers that Nate Oates has gone after have played big roles. You think of a guy like Latrell Wrightsell Jr., right? A one-time Nebraska men's basketball target, in-state guy who went out to Cal State Fullerton. He came back to the D1 ranks, but went to the SEC. He's coming back, I should say, from the concussion that he suffered the first weekend of games. Not 100% officially cleared to play, but by all accounts, his media availability comments I've heard, Latrell Wrightsell Jr. expected to be a part of this Alabama team in some form or fashion here throughout Final Four weekend. Looking at Alabama's starting lineup, 3 seniors and 2 freshmen. Interesting little breakdown there. And I think back to maybe a 2015 Duke-ish, but an inverse ratio. That Duke team started Tyus Jones, Justice Winslow, and Jaleel Okafor as freshmen. You had a senior, Quinn Cook, start, and then one of the 2 juniors. It was either Matt Jones or Emil Jefferson would be the other starter for that Duke team. They would come back the next year. So that wasn't a good example. I don't know why that came to mind. I'm just in my Duke basketball zone. Sorry about that. But yeah, 3 seniors and 2 freshmen. And the seniors are at important spots, right? Estrada is a senior and Sears is a senior. Maybe the 2 most important players, most consistent players on that team. Nelson might be the most important as the X factor. Let's take a look at UConn. Okay. UConn has had some pretty unassailable rosters these last couple years. The balance of recruits versus transfers, the guys they target, the roles that they have, whether it's a recruit or a transfer, the roles they have these guys play and fit into, Dan Hurley and his staff have done maybe the best job of building a roster in, the last few years of modern college basketball. It's really impressive. The Huskies start 2 seniors, 2 sophomores, and a freshman. Okay, so the transfers in for UConn include Cam Spencer, who started his career at Loyola, Maryland, not Loyola Marymount, not Loyola Chicago, Loyola, Maryland. Okay, transferred up to Rutgers, played a couple years there for Steve Peichel, and then hit the portal, bounced up to UConn. He's really taken on a life and a persona of his own. He's been a big key for the Huskies this year. He's a transfer. Hassan Diarra is a player that got out of the portal from Texas A&M. Backup guard, will play some pretty good minutes, give him a different tone defensively. And then a guy that Strick and I talked about earlier this week, maybe their most important player, one of their 2 most important players for my money, Tristan Newton, a guard. He runs the show. He's their point guard. Transferred in from former American Athletic Conference foe, East Carolina. That's right. He goes from wearing the purple and gold to the navy of UConn. He's been a stud this year, deserving All-American. But recruiting has been pretty good too. Stephon Castle. Defense definitely ahead of the offense right now. But I think Stephon Castle is what a lot of people were hoping Ron Holland would be. Ron Holland had an Arkansas offer, a Texas offer at one point, but ends up going to play for the G League Ignite instead. His jump shot hasn't really come around, but he's gotten better at getting downhill. Stephon Castle is a streaky shooter. You can see maybe the outline of a workable NBA-style jump shot there, but he's the dog for UConn on defense. They will put him on the other team's best player, the most athletic player, and just let it ride one-on-one. Stephon Castle can get downhill with a physical bruising nature, whereas Newton is quick, a little bit shifty. Castle has that real athletic burst, and there's power behind it. A nice, kind of complement on the perimeter to Tristan Newton. You think of a guy like Alex Caravan, who kind of under the radar, unsung hero for this team, multi-positional defender, knockdown 3-point shooter, probably better spot up than off the move, but can hit some shots off the move as well. He was a top 100 player in his class, but 95th overall. And Donovan Klingett, number 56 overall prospect in his class. He's a starter for them. We know what the man they call Kling Kong does for UConn in the middle of that defense, and a little bit on offense. The combination of Klingen and Adama Sanogo last year, absolutely lethal. Okay, North Carolina State. This athletic article says if there is a team transfer portal here in Arizona, it's definitely the Wolfpack. Okay, so 7 transfers on this roster. All 5 players in the starting lineup, at least recently, have been transfers. Okay, so DJ Burns starts his career at Tennessee, goes to Winthrop, transfers into North Carolina State. He's been the headliner. You think of DJ Horn, started his career at Arizona State, went to Illinois State, played with Antonio Reeves, funny enough, and then finds his way to Raleigh to play for the Wolfpack. Casey Morsell, a Virginia transfer that I thought was destined to be a Maryland guy, but he ends up at North Carolina State instead. Michael O'Connell, he was the hero in that ACC tournament game against Virginia. Just a fluke phone call. One of North Carolina State's coaches, kind of said, we envision you as the missing piece for an NCAA tournament team. Michael O'Connell, who was okay at Stanford, didn't make much of a name for himself, but hits that miraculous shot against Virginia that helps kickstart the Wolfpack on its way. You look at Ben Middlebrooks, who transferred in from Clemson. Ben Middlebrooks just looks like a guy that would, fit Clemson. So Brad Brownell definitely, typecasting his recruits there. Mohamed Diarra has been a really big piece as well. He started his career off at Missouri before transferring out to North Carolina State. So if there is, like the Athletic is saying, a team transfer portal here that shows it can work, it's North Carolina State. That's the majority of their rotation, that rotation for Kevin Keatts coming out of the transfer portal. Okay, and then Purdue. Here are the 3 words the Athletic uses to describe Purdue in the Matt Painter way: evaluate, recruit, develop. That's what it's been. You go from 7 transfers really in the rotation for North Carolina State to 1 rotation transfer for Purdue. Lance Jones, who transferred in from Southern Illinois. Funny, Lance Jones hasn't played nearly as big a role for Purdue as Marcus Domask, his former Southern Illinois teammate, has for Illinois. But look at this. Lance Jones is the last one left standing from that team. Otherwise, the highest rated recruit on Purdue right now in terms of class rankings, not Zach Edey, not Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Wren. How about that? The power forward for Purdue, Trey Kaufman-Wren, had the highest recruiting ranking of anybody on Purdue's roster. Caleb First has played a little bit of a role behind Zach Edey. He's 65th overall. Fletcher Lawyer, number 96 overall, following his brother Foster's footsteps. Miles Colvin's played a little bit. Ethan Morton, a little bit. Cameron Heide. Braden Smith was barely a top 200 recruit in his class. Now he's first team All Big Ten, knocking on the door of All-American status. And then Zach Edey, 436th ranked in his class. How about that? That is a huge pat on the back, a huge badge of honor for Matt Painter and his staff to say, yes, some people were looking at Braden Smith, but 200th in the country, that's not a lot of high major offers. Zach Edey at 436, that's been the Matt Painter talent, is the big men. You think back to your Caleb Swanigans, your Isaac Haas's, your Trevion Williams type guys. Matt Harms was supposed to be the next in this line. Didn't really take off the way most Purdue bigs did before he ended up transferring out to, anyone know? Matt Harms went to BYU. There's your answer. And then Zach Edey, of course, again, Big Maple, 436th ranked in his class. So 4 really different styles of putting the roster together, which again goes to there's no one right way to do this, right? If you look at Nebraska men's basketball, right? Let's bring it back home to wrap up the segment. Nebraska men's basketball still building more through the transfer portal. That to me is the approach that North Carolina State and Alabama are taking right here. UConn has supplemented with transfers. Purdue just took one. They identified the fit in Lance Jones. They went out and got him. Nebraska men's basketball isn't, doomed to not win if it builds through the transfer portal. It's a workable model. Alabama's guys have been maybe a little more athletic and have shot a little better from 3 consistently. That's why they're in the Final Four. NC State's on a magical Cinderella run, right? All the ingredients finally came together to make the 5-star dish. The train is on the tracks, whatever you want to describe it. It works anyway. So there's no one right way for Nebraska men's basketball to go about building its own roster. Just be right. Just make the correct decisions in your evaluation. And yes, some of that is, pretty much all of it, is easier to judge in retrospect than in the present or even in forecasting. But again, I would say hold off on jumping down, Fred Hoiberg's throat about the transfer portal, because he's shown it can work, and so have other teams across the country. One more segment of Old School left for this hour. We'll have one long segment at the 5 o'clock hour. We'll get you to the NCAA women's basketball Final Four here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course, they have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at the Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
Community means something different to everyone. But for me, it means cheering on those around you during the good times and helping them out during the tough times. I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I've been blessed with the support of my friends, family, coaches, and community throughout my life. When looking for a bank to call home, it was easy to choose Midwest Bank. I never feel like just another customer, and they're proud to support their communities. They love what they do, and it shows. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and more mild weather. Afternoon high around 66. Tonight probably cloudy and breezy, low around 42. And tomorrow we'll see increasing clouds, a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. It'll be windy with the high around 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today. For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And electrical.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Tanner's Bar and Grill is the perfect place to watch the NCAA tournament from the round of 64 all the way to the championship. Bring your friends and family in to enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early, grab your spot, and settle in for a day of NCAA tournament basketball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
No DP, he's traveling. No J, he's coaching. So it's me, Austin Norman, with you for another 35 minutes or so. 5:30 comes, we're sending you out to Cleveland. The Cleveland, whatever you want to call it. Women's Final Four is tonight. We're carrying the Final Four tonight, as well as the championship game on Sunday. We will also have the men's Final Four tomorrow, and on Monday, we'll have the championship game there. Also, we're carrying the Royals. That's right. We are Lincoln's Royals affiliate, Kansas City Royals. So if you hear that on the air, tune in. Please support my Royals. Much better game last night for everyone, including the bullpen. 10-1 win over the Chicago White Sox. But if baseball's not your thing or basketball's not your thing, that's okay. All of our local content will still be playing on the stream or on our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as Allo Channel 961 if you're an Allo subscriber all across the great state of Nebraska. 402-308, 531 if that's your cup of tea as well. If you subscribe to Allo here in Nebraska, you get Channel 961, which means you can watch all of our shows live. One thing that stood out to me today, the San Francisco Giants game had a unique game opening ceremony. Okay, so you had two players throwing out ceremonial first pitches. Deebo Samuel, wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, and Fred Warner, linebacker for the 49ers. Deebo's got to the plate. It was fine. Fred Warner's very much did not. He threw that baseball probably about 40 feet, which is 2/3 of the way home, and he spiked it, and it went across his body. So it was Fred Warner. If you're standing at home plate in the batter's box, it was Fred Warner on the left side, the third base side, Deebo Samuel on the first base side. Fred Warner from the third base side ended up with his baseball going across the first baseline. Okay, it was embarrassing. Showed it to Jay before. He's like, yeah, even I could throw better than that. Jay did play baseball back in the day. His issue was hitting the curve. I think we've all been there. But the unique part about it wasn't just how bad Fred Warner's pitch was. Mitch Wishnowsky, the punter for the 49ers, was also involved. No first pitch, but a first punt. He punted the ball into McCovey Cove, and of course, all the kayakers went wild and got that ceremonial first punt football. Really interesting. Check out the video. It's pretty neat. We're going to take a break, send you to hour 2 of Old School. When we get back, we'll dive into some more college basketball headlines, maybe some college football, and then get you out to Cleveland for the women's Final Four. All that and more here on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through April 9th is buy one, get one free on 8-ounce flat iron steaks, limit 4 per visit. Also, $1.50 off all Bachan's Japanese barbecue sauces. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through April 7th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York strips for $6.99 each, hickory smoked bacon for $4.99 per pound, fresh boneless, skinless chicken breast for $2.99 per pound, and whole tri-tip for $9.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Landmark Implement is your local authorized John Deere dealer. Landmark's trained and certified sales staff will help you find the right equipment for your needs at a price that's right for you, all backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. Whether it's a tractor, planter, combine, an easy track lawnmower, or gator, every piece of equipment in pre-owned inventory is put through a rigorous inspection so it's ready to work hard for you. Landmark's team works together to make sure everything that is sold meets their quality standards. Learn more at landmarkimp.com or stop into a local Landmark location and experience the Landmark difference.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Facing criminal charges is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we believe in treating every person with respect, compassion, and understanding. When legal troubles are keeping you up at night, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. To learn more, call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Women may be complicated, but I make sure buying jewelry isn't. Your gal has a style, and you can figure this out. Is she more of a classic necklace kind of gal, or does she rock the boho chic vibe with layers of delicate bracelets? This is crucial intel. Not trusting your intel? Stop in the store and we'll sort out the details. I promise to make this super easy. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I'd like to have my fun maybe more like on like a Tuesday, like in February or something. Let's see if I can pull a prank on somebody. But not on
it's
prank
like his
day.
total amateur hour.
Yeah, it's just like National Prank Day. Yeah.
Yeah, I do got a little announcement to make.
What's that? Oh, wait, breaking news?
I won't be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday.
Whoa.
What,
kitty?
April Fools.
Oh! He got it. He got that's actually well done. It's so good.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into hour 2 of Old School, brought to you by the Mercado, certified Piedmontese beef, every type of meat, not just beef, every type of cut. Big thanks to our man MVP Mike, who works out there, for bringing in some beef jerky for us. Also left DPA care package. Get your own today. Perfect grilling weather today. Haven't checked the forecast for this weekend. Hopefully it's more of the same, but here's the thing. It's all sunshine and rainbows for me because there's basketball on this weekend. For those of you that don't know, I am probably, outside of Strick, the college basketball junkie here at the Ticket. And so that's what we're going to focus on for the next 20 minutes or so before we get you out to the women's basketball Final Four. Game 1 tonight will be NC State. Yeah, the Wolfpack made it both the men's and women's side against number 1 overall seed South Carolina. Just dominant Don Staley's team has been. So it's 3 seed NC State versus 1 seed South Carolina. And it's another 3-1 matchup on the other side in the nightcap tonight. It's UConn versus Iowa, Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark, Gina Warriema versus Lisa Bluter. Should be in store for a couple good matchups tonight. you'll hear them right here on 93.7 The Ticket. The winners, you'll hear again on Sunday for the championship game. Let's take a look at the men's side, though. UConn opens up as an 11.5-point favorite over Alabama. First of all, what great bulletin board material for Alabama. Second of all, I don't even think that's intended as a slap in the face. I don't know if I would have set the line that high if I were a shark in Vegas. Clearly, they have their rankings and their metrics and their numbers. They're telling them that this is where it has to be. This is where it's settled, and we'll see which side the money comes in on. But I don't even think the 11.5 points is a slap in the face to Bama. I think that's just a testament to how incredibly good UConn has been. Not just this year, but really dating back to last year. So the Huskies have won 10 straight games in the NCAA tournament. You got to win 6 to win a national championship. So obviously last year, they got the first 6 of those wins, all by double digits. And then the next 4 wins, okay, round of 64, 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8 for UConn, have also been by double digits. That's 10 straight double-digit wins in the NCAA tournament. Supposedly against the toughest tests that this team is supposed to face all year. That can be up for debate. We can talk through that if you want. 402-464-5685. What's been more difficult, UConn's NCAA tournament runs or the Big East Conference grind? Because obviously UConn, plays Marquette, plays Creighton. St. John's was better. Butler challenged for an NCAA tournament berth this year. Seton Hall, we'll get to in a minute about Seton Hall, just won the NIT. Xavier's been pretty good. Not as much this year, another NIT team, but the Big East, for my money, is the best or the second best basketball conference in America. No lower than second. Top 3 ain't 3. How about that, as the kids might say? So there's an argument to be made that UConn's path through the Big East and winning that conference is tougher than its path through the NCAA tournament. I mean, yeah, Georgetown and DePaul exist. I would guess they're better than the 16 seed that UConn has faced. And they weren't a 1 last year, but the 16 they faced this year. But who's to say? If you want to have that debate, you sure can. I'm happy to have it. 402-464-5685. But yeah, UConn opens up as an 11.5-point favorite against Alabama. Over-under for that game is set at 161.5, which honestly seems about right to me. This is a game that, okay, so take off the 11.5-point spread, gets you to 150. So yeah, they're talking, 80-something to 70-something. That seems about right. That seems about fair. I mentioned a thread on the block, my show that I do with Eric Strickland, 2 to 4, in case you're just now tuning in. We'd love to have you for the previous couple hours here, weekdays. But no escalators. It's a UConn fan account that I got shown a while back of just some of the best Twitter accounts to follow in college basketball. No escalators is hilarious. I want to give whoever that is their flowers, but it does this person does some insightful work as well, showing that tempo is supposed to be Alabama's friend, but playing at the rate Alabama does, UConn actually has better numbers than Alabama. They get better shots, they take better shots, and more importantly, they make more shots than even Alabama does. So if tempo and jacking up a lot of threes is supposed to be Alabama's skeleton key and way to win this matchup, the numbers would tell you UConn is more than happy to play that style. I don't think UConn is quite as comfortable in the knockdown, drag-out defensive fights, but we also saw UConn run away in one of those games. Now, I'm not saying flee, turn tail and run. I'm saying UConn went on a run and just buried San Diego State and an Avalanche in a national championship rematch earlier in this tournament. So UConn just has been a wagon, has been an unstoppable force, but the way that Creighton beat them, granted it was at home in Omaha, was a barrage of threes. That's really the only way anyone's beaten UConn this year, is getting hot from 3. Alabama has shown the tendency to do that. So if we talk about styles make fights, even if UConn is able to, quote unquote, keep pace with Alabama, play Alabama's game the way they want to, UConn might even be better suited for it. The numbers might tell you. But UConn has shown the ability to win in a variety of ways. 22-26 asks this question, which leads us into the next game on the men's side, at least. Matt and Lincoln. Thanks, Matt. When was the last time two schools had both men's and women's teams in the Final Four in the same year? Matt, work with me here. Let me look that up here real quick. My guess is it would honestly be okay. No, here's the thing. It was, you might, if anyone guesses this, I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to answer this. I'll tell you what my guesses would have been. Okay. So it's not UConn, which would have been one of my guesses. Obviously UConn won last year, but the women didn't make it to the Final Four. UConn won a title in 2014. Yeah, 2011 and 2014. Obviously the peak of, UConn years, but that's UConn women's basketball. I mean, that's not the most recent. So we're still looking for the school that most recently sent both its men's and women's teams to the Final Four. Notre Dame hasn't had a fluke run. Okay, 51-68 says Baylor. It didn't happen in the same year. I like the guess, though. That's a really good guess. You would think maybe a North Carolina, potentially. Okay, Big Bang Hank and the basketball fan both say Tennessee. Here's the thing. Not so fast, my friends, in the words of Lee Corso. Tennessee men have never made a Final Four. That's why that game against Purdue was so big for that program. Purdue made a Final Four back in 1980. Not since then. Tennessee men's basketball has never made a Final Four. So despite all the success with Pat Summitt, no. Tennessee men haven't held up their end of the bargain. Maybe your mind would go to, say Maryland, right? Brenda Freese in charge. But the men haven't made it back to the Final Four, I don't believe, since Juan Dixon won it in 2002. Big Bang Hank comes through again, says Florida. Nope, women's teams weren't good enough to make it to the Final Four, at least not recently, right? Florida went back-to-back in 2007, 2008, and that's what UConn's looking to be, the first team to repeat since then. Women haven't held up their end of the bargain since then. My dad chimes in, asks if it's Duke. Same thing. The men have won a couple titles recently. The women's program dropped off a little bit there in the early 2010s, so it is not Duke. 51-68, it is not Iowa. Okay, the women made it. The men obviously have not flamed out in some pretty spectacular fashions. Big Bang Hank says Stanford, another great guess. But the men's team has been on a downslide since the early 2010s. 50-25, you have the correct answer. South Carolina. How about that? South Carolina, it's the Gamecocks. 2017. Augie says, please just let me know it's not Duke. Okay, yeah, no, it wasn't Duke, but Duke is involved in this. South Carolina made its run as, I don't remember if they were the 7 or the 10, but I know they came out of that 7-10 game in games that were supposed to be played in North Carolina, but got moved to South Carolina for political reasons that are not worth getting into here on the show right now. Duke, the 2 seed, was supposed to have the geographic advantage of playing closer to home in North Carolina. Now that South Carolina's that much further, but that arena was a South Carolina home game. Sindarius Thornwell led that men's team all the way to the Final Four in 2017 on the men's side, ultimately losing to Gonzaga, who would then end up losing to North Carolina, I believe that was, against Gonzaga in 2017. And South Carolina women beat Stanford in the Final Four, but then went on to beat Mississippi State for the national championship. So yeah, North Carolina State is doing it this year. The most recent team, South Carolina, neighbor just, down the interstate to the south, the last team to do it. And that was just, 7-8 seasons ago? I would not have guessed South Carolina. That would not have come to mind. But when it's laid out there like that, it makes sense. Okay, so on North Carolina State, the Wolfpack open up as 9.5-point underdogs against Purdue. 9.5-point favorites are the Boilermakers in this one. Over under at a much more reasonable or typical standard 146.5. That's still plenty of points to go around. Not sure where I lean on that line. I've been on the side of North Carolina State can't keep this up, right? It's all going to come crashing down or even just fluttering down, because I don't know how sustainable it is. It doesn't feel sustainable. DJ Burns is good. He's playing the best basketball of his life at the right time. DJ Horn, same sort of thing. Mohamed Diarra has really played a role and stepped up. Casey Morsell still hasn't shot it great, but has done well enough as a defender and knocked down the occasional open shot. So in my head, I want to say, yeah, Purdue rolls in this one. If this was a, January, February, even early March non-conference matchup, 9.5 would feel a little disrespectful to Purdue, who's really been a machine consistently all year long, unless they go play in someone else's home gym. And even that, they just lost a couple times. But my gut is telling me that, man, maybe North Carolina State does have the secret sauce. Maybe their style of play does lend itself to keeping this game closer than 10 points. DJ Burns raised a point that I don't think we've had time to talk about, but in media availability, he says he presents a different challenge for Zach Edey, not just because of his height and his size, but because he's a scoring big man. Purdue hasn't faced a lot of scoring big men. Now, does DJ Burns stretch the floor the way, say, Rink Mast does, who played a big role in Nebraska's win over Purdue? No. Are NC State's guards as good on the aggregate as Northwestern's were when the Wildcats beat Purdue? No, I don't think so, but they're good enough. DJ Burns is crafty enough, knows how to create space enough, and Zach Edey is obviously a good interior defender. Would I qualify him as dominant based on my eye test? I would not, but I'm sure Purdue is better defending the rim with Zach Edey in the game than Zach Edey out of the game. So watching Zach Edey try to defend DJ Burns and how that then affects him on offense is going to be huge. Because no, DJ Burns isn't as tall, but we know Burns has the girth, right? To combat Edey on the block, to not let him catch it on the block right at his spot, right in the restricted arc. DJ Burns has got the girth to push Zach Edey around a little bit. Not that he's a pushover, but not many people can stand up to and work through, Zach Edey's lower half like DJ Burns can. He can really get into his legs, get into his chest, and actually legitimately move the Big Maple. So to see how North Carolina State uses DJ Burns on offense to go at Zach Edey defensively, I'm curious to see how that will translate into Zach Edey's game, especially as we get into the last 6-8 minutes of that game. Will Purdue be able to rely on Zach Edey to close against a physical presence like DJ Burns, or will he be winded? Will he be out of gas? Will his legs be tired? Will he leave shots short and leave it up to Braden Smith, who was also first team All Big Ten, but kind of fell apart down the stretch for Purdue last year. Same with Fletcher Lawyer. Was not great. They've both taken a step forward. Fletcher Lawyer with the shooting, I think, especially has ticked up. But it wouldn't shock me if NC State goes to DJ Burns early and often to try to wear Zach Edey down. And then it's going to be who on Purdue steps up. Is it Braden Smith getting downhill? Is it Trey Kaufman-Wren, who's a big enough, presence and body himself on the inside? Can he pick up some of the scoring slack against maybe it's a Diarra? Who wins the matchup between Casey Morsell and Lawyer, or Casey Morsell and Mason Gillis? There's a name I was looking for. Who wins those battles? That's what it's going to come down to. Strick and I talked about this earlier in the week as well, and I think it bears repeating. March Madness, any postseason play of any sort, is about the stars, performing well, stepping up to the commensurate level of their play, raising their bar. But it's also about the role players stepping up in moments maybe they haven't stepped up before. It's about the role players maybe making one extra play that they haven't made throughout the rest of the season that they make in these games. As much as this game is about Smith and Edey for Purdue, as much as this game is about Horn and Burns for North Carolina State, this game is about Trey Kaufman-Wren. This game is about Mason Gillis. This game is about Mo Diarra. It's about Casey Morsell, Ben Middlebrooks. Guys like that are going to help sway how this North Carolina State-Purdue game goes. The style differences between Alabama and UConn fascinate me. The stylistic similarities, and hopefully the last 6 or 8 minutes of Purdue and North Carolina State will hold my attention. All right, Augie. Do I despise North Carolina State? I need you to rephrase this question. Do I despise North Carolina State as much as Tar Heel fans despise North Carolina State? Or do I despise North Carolina State as much as I despise North Carolina? That's the question. Let me just answer it both ways. Do I despise North Carolina State as much as I despise North Carolina? Absolutely not. I know better than that, right? I know who's chief in that argument. North Carolina State annoys me, but every time, not some of the times, but every time Duke goes to PNC Arena in Raleigh, I prepare for the worst, mentally and physically. I assume that Duke is going to lose at NC State, because that game is North Carolina State's Super Bowl. No matter how good or bad Duke is, no matter how good or bad North Carolina State is, I just assume North Carolina State is going to get up for its Super Bowl, play well against Duke, maybe out-athlete them or shoot especially well, have one guy go off for 40. That's kind of what happened in the ACC tournament. Do I despise North Carolina State as much as North Carolina fans do? Probably not. I could see the looks of disgust unfolding on Hubert Davis's face and Roy Williams' face in the postgame. RJ Davis and Armando Bacot, right? They felt the same pain that I felt as a Duke fan just 2 days later. I think there's still more history, earlier history, deeper rooted history between the Wolfpack and the Tar Heels than North Carolina State and Duke. So I think there's more disdain between North Carolina State and North Carolina than I do Duke and North Carolina State, right? I on this very program, I have referred to North Carolina State as the redheaded stepchild of Tobacco Road. That's how I feel about them. They're family. They're there. How often do we acknowledge them? Only when we have to, I guess, ideally. So no, I don't despise or hate North Carolina State. They annoy me, especially when they pop up and beat Duke, but I'm kind of resigned to it. I kind of know what's going to happen. It's all loathing for UN Cheat or the Tar Heels, as I so often lovingly refer to them as. A little bit of coaching news in college basketball to end off today's show. The more under the radar news is Josh Schertz, the head coach at Indiana State, appears to be on his way to St. Louis. And yes, that is a step up. We know Indiana State's basketball history with Larry Bird. They had some good runs in the Missouri Valley, too, in the early mid-2010s. But St. Louis, a member of the Atlantic 10 tonight. Billikens, Rick Majerus, Travis Ford just left there. That's a good step up for Josh Schertz, who was in the running for some higher major jobs. But I like him going to that next level, not having quite the high level of expectations and pressure on him right away. I think that's going to work out really well for both sides. I'm excited about that for Josh Schertz. I'm also curious to see how it works out potentially for Jerome Tang and Arkansas. That's right. Eric Musselman took the job out in Los Angeles. He took the USC job. Sorry, blanked me for a second there. Eric Musselman goes from Arkansas out to USC after Hunter Yurchek, the AD, put out what is now an incredibly ironic video asking, "Oh, you're still here?" With Eric Musselman, a week later, he bolts. Jerome Tang, head man at Kansas State, priority candidate at Arkansas, longtime assistant under Scott Drew at Baylor. Really curious to see if he ends up accepting that job. Here's a good tweet on it from Kellis Robinette, who writes about Kansas State for the Wichita Eagle and Kansas City Star. So he says, sounds like the Arkansas job is Jerome Tang's if he wants it, but their fans may prefer other candidates, which is a hilarious line we don't have time to get in depth into. I'm also told Kansas State is prepared to sweeten Tang's deal and is highly motivated to keep him in Manhattan. Kellis Robinette says, I don't know what will happen. There's an interesting tug of war unfolding. I'm sure we'll get news over the weekend whether Jerome Tang stays in Manhattan, which I think would be a coup for Kansas State, and Glenn Taylor being able to keep both Chris Kleiman and Jerome Tang around despite interest. Arkansas does a pretty good job. I think it'd be a step up on a school level, but definitely not on a conference level. The Big 12 is still, for my money, ahead of the SEC. Really appreciate all you and your involvement here in Old School, also during On the Block. That'll do it for me here in the 93.7 The Ticket studios. We have got some local program. We know Nuri's on the air on our streams tonight, but on the radio waves, women's basketball Final Four, starting out with NC State and South Carolina, moving into UConn and Iowa. For Strick, for Spud Webb, who joined us during On the Block, for Jay, for DP, this is Austin Norman signing off. We'll talk to you later.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Landmark Implement is your local authorized John Deere dealer. Landmark's trained and certified sales staff will help you find the right equipment for your needs at a price that's right for you, all backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network. Whether it's a tractor, planter, combine, an easy track lawnmower, or gator, every piece of equipment in pre-owned inventory is put through a rigorous inspection so it's ready to work hard for you. Landmark's team works together to make sure everything that is sold meets their quality standards. Learn more at landmarkimp.com or stop into a local Landmark location and experience the Landmark difference.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of